Around 12 hours on the 26th of February 2013 in Samba, Muntembo village, a 12-year-old boy named Oscar Stone and a couple of his friends became very bored at their place, and they thought they should go and play in the nearby forest butted right next to the village. So these boys organized themselves and went on to play at this forest. As these boys were goofing around at the nearby thicket, they came across a house that was built at a fairly secluded piece of land from the rest of the houses in the village. And this secluded house the boys came across belonged to a 42-year-old man named Stanley. Most of the people in this village knew that Stanley is not mentally sane, so they just let him be. He liked spending his time at church and also killing small animals like mouse in the forest and birds with his catapult. That's how Stanley lived most of his life. When 12-year-old Oscar and his friends reached near Stanley's house, they found that Stanley was inside his house and his good-looking catapults were outside his house, and Stanley did not notice that there was anyone outside the house. Oscar and his friends saw Stanley's nicely made catapults outside the house, and immediately they were curious to take the catapults without Stanley noticing them. So Oscar took the risk. Then he braced himself and began tentatively walking across Stanley's yard, making sure that each step is as soundless as possible so as not to alert Psycho Stanley inside the house. The young boy managed to reach Stanley's catapults without anyone noticing him. Then he got the catapults and began slowly walking back to his friend, making sure that Stanley inside does not hear him. But as Oscar was about to completely exit Stanley's yard, he made a mistake and stepped on some dried up twigs that snapped and made a loud sound. Immediately, Stanley heard the sound from inside, and he came out of the house only to find Oscar holding his catapults. Immediately, Stanley began chasing Oscar, and within a couple of seconds, Stanley caught Oscar. The rest of Oscar's friends managed to run away. Without any explanation, this fully grown 42-year-old man began beating up 12-year-old Oscar like he's fighting someone his own size. He beat up Oscar nearly to death. After beating up Oscar almost to death, he hoisted him from the ground up to his shoulder and began walking with him further into a deeper and more denser secluded part of the forest. As he was walking into this deeper part of the forest, he would tell 12-year-old Oscar that nsima yowadia lero zuba yowoda lero ndiya last ndaba nza kuponya mutu nza kujuba mtu mapieces tungono ero nikutaye kulibaza kupeza ero ndidia nozafa yomwana onganibere ponje madegeni. As Stanley was threatening Oscar, who was about to pass out from the beating he received, he was also showing him these huge nails, telling him that before I cut you up in 2 pieces, I'm going to crucify you like they did to Jesus Christ, and I want to make sure that you feel pain. Oscar thought Stanley is joking, but Stanley was unmovable, serious. Back at Oscar's house, his parents noticed that since 12 hours when their child went out to play with his friends, it was now late 20 hours. He was nowhere to be seen at home, and so they began looking for their child. First, they went to ask from his friends, the one he went to play out with. Oscar's friends told the parents about how Oscar got caught stealing Matt Stanley's catapults, and he got badly beaten by Stanley. And they also directed Oscar's parents the direction where Stanley took Oscar into the forest. And without any hesitation, Oscar's parents, with a couple of their neighbors and friends, went rushing into the forest to search for their child. After searching for a couple of hours, they still did not find Oscar anywhere in the forest. Now they were very tired. They were even about to give up, until Oscar's father saw Oscar patched up onto a tree's cracks, with both of his palms nailed one by one onto the tree's branches, one arm on the left branch and the right arm on the right branch, with both of his legs nailed together into the tree's main trunk. And just like that, Oscar was found nailed to a tree. Oscar's parents contacted authority, and they carefully removed Oscar from the tree. Then he was sent to a hospital where he recovered. Stanley was arrested and sent to serve time in prison without the possibility of parole.